think we're live. What's up, everybody? Thank you for joining me for the post-conference discussion with a special guest. The Litecoin Community Alliance founder, Jason, is going to be joining us shortly. I apologize for the delay. My OBS, which is a streaming platform, decided not to work. So we're going to be using Google Hangouts now. And I'm going to take a quick minute so that I can allow everyone to know that this is the actual link to the post-conference discussion. So bear with me, guys. I'm going to go ahead and chat the, there we go. It's all good. It's all good. Thank you guys for tuning in. We're going to talk about the Charlie Lee conference that we had earlier tonight. And also, we're going to have a special guest. So stay tuned while I get everything set up. Thank you, guys. Looks like we've got a lot of people waiting on that stream. So, alrighty. What's up, everybody? We're going to get started in just a minute. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to be having the Litecoin Community Alliance founder joining us to talk about the Litecoin Community Alliance and what they're going to be providing for the cryptocurrency community and also the Litecoin community. I'll see you later, man. Thank you. Call me when you're done. Yeah, well, I'll call you. Make sure we have the right link and also the Litecoin community. I'll see you. All right, I'm going to go ahead. I got to copy this link. People have the wrong link to the conference, so.
Okay.
What's up, Jason?
Hey, how's it going? Oh, I can see myself. Here we go.
There we go. How are you, man? Thank you for tuning in.
Hey, no problem. It was a great stream. I think we really learned a lot about, sort of what's going on in Charlie Lee's head and some of the things we should be expecting soon. So I think we can learn a lot from that. Great job.
Thank you, thank you. I tried my best. And I give thanks to you guys from the Litecoin Community Alliance and also the Litecoin community. They provided me with a lot of the base questions and topics that I basically put into a document so that we could discuss with Charlie Lee. So this is Jason. He is the Litecoin Community Alliance founder, which is a recently created community, right?
Yeah, so we started maybe 3 weeks ago. Originally what had happened is Charlie Lee came to the Reddit community because he'd been catching a lot of slack for the price of Litecoin not increasing up to what everyone was expecting. There was a lot of hype around August 1st being a very big date for Litecoin. It's sort of the uncertainty surrounding Bitcoin. People saw it as a good hedge. And the split happened with Bitcoin Cash, and everyone thought, okay, this is definitely Litecoin's time to shine. And it didn't go quite as expected. Litecoin remained more or less stable against fiat. And then people were kind of waiting the whole month of July, waiting for this to happen. It never happened. So they came to Reddit. They were posting at Charlie saying, look what happened. I don't understand. We should be seeing a Litecoin price increase. And so Charlie came to the Reddit community and said, look, I know some of you guys are disappointed, and I know I'm going to upset some of you guys, but my job really is not to moon the price of Litecoin. My job is to develop the tech, okay? And once I've developed the tech, your job as the community is to get that tech into every retailer's hands, to go to small businesses, to go to large businesses, say, look, we love Litecoin and we want to use it as a payment method. Yeah. And that's been the vision of Litecoin the whole time. I mean, I don't want to sit here and say Litecoin's not an investment, because it is. People can speculate on it. It works. It functions like a security. But the truth is it's really a currency, and that's what it should be. And so with that said, I decided, look, Charlie's clearly reaching out to the community to help. We have 45,000 members on the Reddit Litecoin community. We have people of all different backgrounds, lawyers, accountants, web developers, programmers. Everyone you can think of in the Litecoin community alliance has a different type of specialty that they bring to the table. And so all I've done is I've taken all these people and I've grouped them into this alliance. And so right now, we have two main objectives. And the first one is education. Okay, so our goal is to demystify both cryptocurrency as a space for people who know nothing about it, like your mom or your dad, who may have heard about it on TV or whatnot, but really don't understand it, really don't understand the technical aspects and don't trust it. Our job is to convince those people this is a valuable space. Cryptocurrencies are important. And number two, educate about Litecoin specifically. Litecoin is great as a currency because it's fast and it's low transaction fees. And currently, it is optimal to a credit card or a debit card in terms of fees that a retailer must pay for those types of transactions. So from a retailer perspective, every retailer in the world should know about this. Every retailer should be using this as a primary payment method for their own benefit. Mm-hmm. Then, as a consumer, your primary benefit is totally decentralized. It's totally anonymous. It's interesting. It's fun, and it really will change the way we say and pay for things. So our goal is to, as first I said, educate both on crypto and Litecoin, and also the next part of mass adoption really has to do with getting the technology into retailers' hands, getting the technology into consumers' hands to actually transact Litecoin. And so that's what we're sort of doing now, is we have some developers working on developing these paper wallets, which will work with sort of dynamic QAs to assign distinct sort of transaction IDs on every purchase. And so that's a big project we've got going on. And we're going to be working closely with business leaders and getting as many people to kind of adopt that technology for their own benefit and for the benefit of the greater Litecoin community. So that's my sort of introduction.
Yeah, no, I like the introduction. That you've made some extremely valid points. So Litecoin Community Alliance, their approach is number one, education, and also it's geared towards mass adoption, getting people and retailers and big business to start accepting and exchanging Litecoin as a means of payment, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's, mass adoption only happens if first everyone knows what Litecoin is and what a cryptocurrency is and how to use it, how to transact it. Where do you spend your Litecoin? Who accepts it currently? That kind of information, we've just released our website. Anyone listening can check out litecoinalliance.org. We've set up some resources there so you can find businesses. I think we have over 50 businesses, 60 businesses that we've listed on our website that you can go and check out. And you can take your Litecoin and they will accept your Litecoin. And you can buy all sorts of things, from jewelry to electronics and alcohol and anything imaginable. So we're both pointing consumers to where you can actually go and use your Litecoin, as well as telling them this is why you should be using Litecoin. This is what it is. And eventually we're going to add guides and things, to explain more complicated aspects about what is the Lightning Network, what is MAST, just the different intricacies that people might not really understand or might not have a central hub where they can understand that information going further.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's really complex to basically let people know what exactly is going on and what certain perks and technological developments are. It's very advanced, and it's hard to hear it in layman's terms, and it's hard to find someone that's able to articulate it in layman's terms so that they can better comprehend what exactly MAST is or Lightning Network, all these other things that are going to be implemented to Litecoin's platform. And I mean, Litecoin it has a huge roadmap ahead. It has tons of things that's being constantly worked on by tons of developers, not even just Litecoin developers, but I think that the future of Litecoin is just unlimited. It's like the sky is the limit, honestly.
I completely agree. And I think once people find out how much more optimal it is to current transaction methods, both on the consumer side of things and on the retailer side of things, we're really going to see a change in the way that we pay and sell things. It's going to be faster and it's going to be cheaper, and that's the bottom line.
Yeah, it's an appreciating asset. I mean, you've got fiat currency that's slowly and more over time rapidly dying, losing its value, and then you have cryptocurrencies like Litecoin or Bitcoin or some other currencies that are appreciating in value, and they're going to continue to do so. We got to think about it. You know, the collective market cap of cryptocurrencies is it's less than $200 billion. There are trillions of dollars out there. There's tons and tons of businesses that still need to take the approach of recognizing it as a currency. And not only that, I mean, the USA, I don't even think recognizes cryptocurrencies as a currency, a legal currency at least. But I mean, we have a long ways to go. And I think that to be getting into the cryptocurrency space now and learning about it now, you're going to be like a wizard in the future when all these other people are just now learning it. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm an economist, so we'll see about how well I understand the technical aspects. Perhaps I'll read some of my own guides to get a little more knowledge myself. But also, like you say, that's a very important point. Litecoin is an appreciating asset. Imagine if you have all your currency that is growing in value. You find out that the $10 you spent yesterday, you know, if you have a Litecoin and it's gone to $60, you now have more money for transactions. So as a consumer, you really have a huge benefit to be using something that can appreciate in value like that. So absolutely, I totally think that's a huge pull for consumers here.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, we have Overstock.com, which is a pretty big online e-commerce retailer. I mean, I've seen their commercials on just local television where I live, and they just recently accepted cryptocurrencies as a mean of exchange. But what upsets me is that they're accepting, you know, like 30 cryptocurrencies instead of just narrowing it down to a few. But I think that the businesses that get in now, they're going to really reap the rewards constantly, time after time, as we go into the future. But yeah.
Which is absolutely true, and I think most importantly, Litecoin needs to be first. We're seeing that more and more currencies are starting to try and occupy the currency space, trying to capture, you know, the transaction payment market. And Litecoin is far ahead of the game. We're sort of leading the way in some of the development with having segregated witnesses before Bitcoin, with Lightning networks close behind. You know, we're very well positioned to be one of those cryptocurrencies that takes over the payment market quickly, and once it does, there's not going to be another currency that's going to come in as strongly that will take over. So we're key positioned in time right now to really make this happen, to really make it boom, and that's why we're calling on the entire community to get involved. You know,
yeah.
Even if you don't have a lot of time to volunteer, go to your local businesses. Tell them you want to see Litecoin at their shops. You know, there's petitions online right now to have Amazon pick up Litecoin. Go find it, go sign it. These are the types of things that every one of us should be doing right now. You want to see the price of Litecoin boom, you just want to use it as an investment, that's fine. An investment will increase if everyone starts using it as a transaction method. And that's the key point here.
I think everyone needs to, you know, even Charlie Lee has noted multiple times on his Twitter account, and just in general, you know, he's not going to be the only one to bring Litecoin's existence to the next level. I think that the entire community needs to contribute to the further adoption and awareness of not only Litecoin but cryptocurrencies. You know, Charlie Lee's not getting paid to develop Litecoin. You know, none of these developers are getting paid. None of the developers that are developing the Lightning Network wallet Zap or whatever, they're not getting paid to do this. So it's up to the community to really put forth that effort on their spare time to consult and tell their friends about it and promote cryptocurrencies entirely. So that's really a good focus.
Absolutely. And Charlie, like you said, Charlie's one man. His attention should be entirely focused on developing the technology needed to keep these transaction fees low, needed to keep Litecoin as a fast, you know, as a fast payment method. He shouldn't have to be spending his time going to every business in the world and saying, look, I have something that's going to work out better for your business. That's where we really need to come in. And that's why I've started this.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad to be a part of your guys' Slack channel as well. Is the Slack channel open to the community, or is that more so for the members of the Litecoin Community Alliance?
So only current members of the Litecoin Community Alliance are allowed on Slack. But if anyone is listening and wants to get involved, if you go to litecoinalliance.org, there's on the top tab, there's a Join Us button. And that'll give you, access to sort of submit your information, what your special space is, how you think you can contribute best, and that'll go directly to us. We'll review it and we'll get back to you quickly. At this point, we have over 60 volunteers who, like I said, occupy very different spaces, from lawyers to accountants, web developers. But we're always looking for more people, and particularly on the marketing end. Mass adoption happens when you go out to all these businesses and demand that they use it. So the more people we can have specifically reaching out to these businesses, the faster we'll achieve mass adoption.
Yeah, I think diversifying your guys' community, the Litecoin Community Alliance, diversifying it by means of each person having different values that they can contribute, each person that has different skill sets, so that everyone can collectively work together and aim for the same result. So I think that's really awesome that you're taking that approach of just not having the same people that have the same skill set. It's always good to have all walks of life, all different industries that will evenly and consistently open up those doors to really adoption for Litecoin.
Absolutely, and you will be amazed by the types of people we get. And it's been a few weeks, and we've already gotten so many volunteers. We're well underway with a number of different projects, one of which I mentioned is the paper wallets. Hopefully in a few weeks here, we'll actually be able to sell paper wallets that you can go out, you can take to a business that accepts Litecoin and use it directly there. I'm not going to get too deep into the tech, since I don't want to speak about what I don't fully understand, but our developers, I assure you, they know exactly what to do, and they've built a way that will enable stores to really dynamically use QA codes to sell their goods, such that each sale has a distinct sort of ID that's easy for them to track and understand.
So using QR codes, you mean, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's one of the more common ways of people exchanging their coins, like moving their coins, transferring them. Sometimes people use QR codes, which is actually really convenient if you think about it. I think one of the biggest things, I actually tweeted about it on my Twitter account, that I think the elimination of complexity with exchanging cryptocurrencies, once we jump over that milestone, I think that we will really be able to roll into that mass adoption, because one of the fears is from most people that don't really understand cryptocurrencies or they're new to the field is the wallet addresses and how complex they are. There's a bunch of letters, numbers. People are like, what the heck is this? And what's unfortunate is it's so easy to send a cryptocurrency to the wrong coin wallet, or the wrong coin wallet. And it's also one of the other issues is that if you type in that address code wrong, that coin that you're sending is not going to result in being in the receiver's side. So that's a big thing that they need to work on.
It's a very sort of tricky thing here, and which is why we will have actually guides about how to send and receive Litecoin, so people can learn more about that and can feel comfortable actually transacting Litecoin amongst each other without having to worry about their Litecoin being in the ether. So that's one of our projects as well.
Yeah. So you guys got a diverse group of people. We've got people actively working for this mass adoption, and I know you guys just released your website, right? It just got finished? Just
today, just launched, litecoinalliance.org.
Litecoin Alliance, and the link is actually in the description of this video if you would like to check out the website. I tried going on the website and it didn't seem to allow me to go on the website. I don't know why, but I'm gonna try one more time to see if maybe it works. It was telling me that the client was invalid, the IP. But the website is live, is what you're telling me, right?
Be able to access. I'm on it right now, actually.
Yeah. And also, you guys could follow the Litecoin Community Alliance Twitter account, which is, I believe, at LitecoinCA. So Charlie Lee follows the Twitter account. But yeah, make sure to follow that Twitter account.
Actually, Charlie Lee came up with the name Litecoin Community Alliance. I think we were originally the Satoshi Light Unified Alliance, and so no, don't unify around me, unify around Litecoin. And with that, the Litecoin Community Alliance was born.
And we know that Charlie Lee has been really active on Twitter. He's been making more bold statements and being, more available to the community, which is amazing. But at the same time, I think some people are thinking, oh, Charlie Lee just wants to have fame or whatever to establish his existence. That's really not the case. He's really doing all of this, number one, totally on donations, free of charge. He's not getting paid for this. And number two, the fact that he wants Litecoin to succeed. He doesn't want himself to succeed. Just because he's a creator doesn't mean that he needs to be the most famous guy. We need to make Litecoin famous is our objective.
Like you said, Charlie's not in this for the money. He's in it because it's his project, because he believes in it, because he truly does think that it is a better transaction method. And it is. We see that right now. And I really think it's respectful to have a leader like that who comes in and has the chance to enrich himself, but chooses not to keep the integrity of the project. And that's really what he's done, which is why I have supported him and continue to support him and his vision. And I keep his vision in mind every time we come up with a new sort of initiative at the LCA. Is this truly something Charlie would be interested in? Is this something that's going to help the growth of Litecoin, or is this something that's a get-rich-quick scheme? That's not what we're about. We're a community organization run by the Litecoin community to improve the way we transact, because we all believe in Litecoin as a transaction method.
Yeah, absolutely. And it makes me laugh. It makes me laugh, and the past few weeks, because Litecoin was being a rock and there wasn't a lot of volatility, and these day traders and swing traders were getting all upset. Not really necessarily the hodlers, but they were getting upset because all these other cryptocurrencies were pumping and Litecoin was just sitting there untouched. But I think that Litecoin having steady growth and consistent growth over time is a lot better than a coin pumping and then falling down as fast as it pumped up. So,
and also,
that's what I think.
As a currency, that's very important. If you have some currency that's bouncing all around, that's not stable, you're going to be worried about buying it, right? If Litecoin drops 10% every other day, and you want to use it to buy something, you're going to be worried that value of the Litecoin you just purchased to go buy something else is going to drop 20%. Litecoin is a rock. It is stable against the US dollar, which is really important if you're trying to use it as a currency. And Litecoin is on the up and up still, and it has room to grow, and it's probably undervalued currently, and it will increase. But even then, Charlie Lee, as he said in the interview earlier, he's created lights, right? He's created smaller subunits of this thing so that people can really understand what they're giving out when the Litecoin price goes to, I don't want to make predictions here, Litecoin price goes to 1,000. You need to understand how much a candy bar, what Litecoin you're giving away when you buy a candy bar. And that's why I think it's really smart that he's introduced these smaller subunits so you have a sense of value for your transaction. You can try and buy a candy bar with a Bitcoin, 0.0000 whatever. You're not going to understand what you just gave up for that candy bar. I think Charlie moving forward with that is really going to help us in the long run stay on track of being the cryptocurrency used for payments.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things I like about Charlie Lee is that he is looking at the big picture. He's looking at the end result. What steps do we need to take and innovate to successfully move to mass adoption and sustain these fast payments and low fees? That's what Charlie Lee's thinking of. And he has the colored coins, and he has the lights and stuff like that. Those are, in my opinion, like side developments to the actual Litecoin project. I mean, there's so much on the roadmap that has yet to even be released. But yeah, it's amazing to see how he's approaching it, how he's not pumping the coin, he's being realistic. And we all know that Litecoin has been around for a very long time. It's one of the oldest cryptocurrencies. And what sucks is like a lot of people that are new to the cryptocurrency community, don't really know which currencies really have the value. They really have the technology and the code and software to be the next big thing, to succeed quite well. And they get into some of these other coins that are pumping. And what I think to myself is, we'll see if that coin's around in 6 months. That's how I look at it. And that's one of the issues with all the scamming. You've got the scamming, you've got the ICOs, you've got coins that promise something and they're really not coming through at all, and they boycott and scam exit the coin. So it's really interesting. What is your take on that?
Well, I think there's always going to be people around who are looking to make a quick buck. And I think ICOs are really those kinds of people looking to make a quick buck.
Yeah.
So many of these ICOs, there's no real use value to the coin. And that's the problem. What is the point of creating some coin that you can't use in some way? It's a currency. It's called a cryptocurrency. It's not called a crypto stock. Maybe it would be different then. But these ICOs are missing the point of what we're here for. We're here for a decentralized payment system. And Litecoin gives us that. A number of these ICOs do not give us that. And that is why ultimately we're going to see the death of ICOs and the rebirth of these currencies that are meant to be what we've come out to do, transactions.
Yeah, the same thing all along too. It's been. I mean, the people that have been in the crypto space for a while, they know which coins, for the most part, that really have value. They have an actual future. They have an active development team. I mean, Vertcoin, Litecoin, and Bitcoin are all on that page. And it's unfortunate, as the SEC, the regulation is starting to dump into these ICOs, and they're going to be regulating the crap out of them, which is a good thing. But at the same time, I want to limit the regulation. I don't want a whole bunch of regulation. I really want to keep the decentralized aspect of the blockchain, of cryptocurrencies. But yeah, I mean, the ICO thing is quite terrible.
And regulation will be hard to stop. And if they really decide, people are just using these coins for drugs, which isn't true. And I think part of our goal is to show that, yeah, people are going to be using this for very, important other things like buying their everyday purchases. I think we can kind of push back against regulation in that way by showing, no, we're not here buying drugs. We're here buying what we would buy every single day at Walmart, at Amazon, at whatever the hell, because this is just a better currency. It's not something we're trying to hide our lives with, but will allow us to remain anonymous so we choose. So I think that's, as we go for mass adoption, I think regulators will quickly see, look, this is having more legitimacy than illegitimacy, and we really should not prevent that good, economy improving legitimacy part of it.
Yeah, and people need to look at cryptocurrencies as a currency and not a stock. You made a good point. I mean, people are trading these cryptos, and I think it's more so because of the fact that there's not trillions of dollars in the market. I think that once we get all of this mass adoption done and over with, that it's basically going to be a consolidation approach in the cryptocurrency community. There's not going to be huge jumps and huge bottoms with cryptocurrency. I think it's going to be more leveled and consolidating. But that's why I think that people are trading cryptocurrencies not as a currency but as a stock, because of the fact that there's so much volatility and there's, the wealth distribution isn't the best. Some people have a lot of these coins that they bought pennies on the dollar, and now they're worth well above pennies on the dollar. They're worth multiple dollars, hundreds of dollars and more. And they have a lot of ability to dump these coins and maybe manipulate the markets a bit, which needs to be sorted out, I guess, in the future.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's true. But for those coins with the bigger market caps, it's hard for any one whale to change the whole market. So yeah, you'll have these altcoins with very small market caps that'll grow 20% one day and drop 20% the next. But we're not going to see that so much with Litecoin in the future, because we have such a strong market cap, because there is such a good, bright future for Litecoin. People believe in it as a use value coin. And sure, there will be speculators, and I'm not going to discourage them, because investors give promotion to Litecoin as a currency. I found out about Litecoin because I initially invested in it. Then I realized, this really would be good as a transaction method. I learned more about Charlie Lee and saw his vision as this is a real transaction method. And that made me think, this is what I want to be involved with. This is something I want to promote. And so the investors really have driven people like me who want to see the mass adoption to the point where I've realized mass adoption is what's important.
Yeah, and I think that Charlie Lee is really sticking to the point that Litecoin is not going to overtake Bitcoin. Bitcoin is going to be the store of value. It's going to be the gold standard coin. But he's very keen on Litecoin being the silver to Bitcoin's gold, which is a lot more than what people think. He's not talking about the value of these commodities in comparison to Litecoin and Bitcoin. He's talking about the use cases. And, very well, I think that Litecoin could really land a second place on the total market cap for cryptocurrencies, because in the future it's going to be used as the payment coin, and we have the atomic swapping with Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Vertcoin, so that if you have your Bitcoin, you can transfer it over to Litecoin, so that you can then purchase something very quickly and efficiently, and also with lower fees. But I'm happy that Charlie Lee is sticking to not overestimating the fact that Litecoin really isn't going to overtake the king of cryptocurrencies, which is Bitcoin.
And I mean, in a sense, it almost doesn't even matter. If we really truly see this as a transaction method, then the growth of Litecoin will be determined by the fact that we choose to adopt it, that everyone starts using it. And Bitcoin is good because it's a store of value. It's like gold. If you think the economy is going to collapse, Bitcoin's probably not a bad place to put your money. If you think the economy is going to collapse, Litecoin is, sure, you can put your money in Litecoin, but that's not what it's for. They operate in two different spaces, which is almost why I want to push back against the gold and silver, because like you said, some people see that as this is just a second place coin. It's not a second place coin. It's a totally different space. It's apples and oranges.
Completely different approach. Yeah.
Technically the gold and silver analogy is trying to express that. But at the end of the day, I think it confuses some people, and I really want to clarify. The point of Litecoin is not to surpass Bitcoin. If it does, that's great. The point of Litecoin is to change the world of transactions, and slowly, as it does, we may even see a world where Litecoin surpasses Bitcoin.
Yeah, I think that's a possibility. I didn't want to say that, but at the same time, it's like, Litecoin's use case is so much more broad than Bitcoin. Bitcoin is just going to sit there, and people with their Bitcoin are going to transfer it over into Litecoin for means of payment. And the more utilization and the more amount of users that are using Litecoin for payment, and obviously not Bitcoin, I think that there's very well a chance that maybe temporarily or permanently that Litecoin could reach a higher market cap than Bitcoin, because you got to think about it. You got businesses that are going to be transacting with Litecoin and not Bitcoin in the future. Now, they're going to be holding a lot of these coins when they do these transactions in offline wallets and whatnot. So it's going to hold that market cap. And I think that the more businesses that approach this means of payment with Litecoin, that the market cap could really substantially grow over Bitcoin.
Absolutely, and I foresee that world. If it truly is mass adopted in the way that we plan on trying to push it, into businesses everywhere, then sure, the market cap could exceed Bitcoin. But at the end of the day, that's not what we're here to do. What we're here to do is to improve the consumer payment, to improve the retailer payment, to make transactions better. And if we can surpass Bitcoin, like I said, that's great. But at the end of the day, we're trying to make the world of transactions a better place.
We're trying to change the world with the blockchain technology. It's going to be, it's incredible to see, all of these people starting to actually, look at the cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin, I'm sure, I bought my first Bitcoin in 2012, and it was a couple bucks. And I bought it, blind-eyed. I just knew that it was utilized on the dark web. I actually had a friend that was purchasing something on the dark web, and then that's what brought my attention to it. And I thought, maybe I should buy some of this, and I'll just hold on to it for years to come. And then, people that are hesitant to buy Bitcoin back then, they're looking at it now, they're like, oh my gosh, 4 years ago, it was like $1,000. Now it's $1,500. Now it's over 2,000. Now we're sitting on a $4,000 plus Bitcoin. It's like, it's not going to go anywhere. It's just getting started.
And that's, 2,000 like in the last 2 months increase. It's caught the eye of people who are trying to make money. And for now, it's gonna make people money. But there will come a time when people say, what I'm really after is the transaction, is the use value of these coins. And we're starting to see more of that with Bitcoin. And for example, a lot of retirement accounts are now allowing you the option to put some investments in Bitcoin, which is an interesting perspective. I know Fidelity just opened up. You can take your retirement account and put money in Bitcoin through Fidelity. Yeah. And that's an interesting idea because it is a store of value. For now, it's definitely growing. If it becomes that kind of long-term investment that will grow and grow, then yeah, that's a good space for it. If you want to use it to buy a house, that's a good space for it. Litecoin is, as Charlie Lee says, is the burger and fries transaction. It's going to be your smaller payments. It's going to operate, and you go to the store and you buy whatever you can take out of the store in your hands. So I think Bitcoin has its own space, like I said, and Litecoin is ultimately going to totally change the way we deal with small purchases.
Yeah, you can almost compare, Bitcoin and Ethereum are completely different protocols. They're completely different fundamentals and approach. One has ICOs, one has smart contracts, and Bitcoin doesn't. I think that Litecoin is a completely different approach now that we look at it in depth than Bitcoin. And the simple way of putting it is that Bitcoin is just going to be the store of value. Litecoin is going to be used for payment. And I don't think Bitcoin will ever be able to be utilized as a form of quick payment simply because not only the long time periods, but the fees are getting outrageous. And we all know that's becoming an issue that we cannot ignore any longer.
And I think part of the reason Bitcoin Cash came out is to sort of be the Litecoin, right?
Yeah.
Get that market locked down. But, we're seeing, 4 times difficulty on the blocks increasing, already. You cannot have such instability with the difficulty. You don't have that as much with Litecoin. That's why it's going to operate much better as a currency than Bitcoin Cash. And that's why ultimately Bitcoin Cash, I suspect, will fizzle.
Yeah, what is Bitcoin Cash that makes it superior in any way other than being a fork of Bitcoin? What does it actually have over Litecoin? Trying to put 2 and 2 together, it's like the only reason why Bitcoin Cash has this value, in my opinion, is because of number one, the politics. Then we also have the monopolized mining with Bitcoin and Bcash. And we know that Bitmain has an automatic swap between which pool they're going to mine because based off of the difficulty rating and the profitability. So they're basically, I feel like they're, in a sense, destroying the cryptocurrency community because of this nonsense. But also, I mean, they're dragging it down. They don't have a progressive approach. They're not looking at the new innovative way to approach cryptocurrencies. And I think Jihan Wu and Bitmain have a large part in why Bitcoin Cash even had the ability to establish itself. I don't know what your take is on that.
Well, I think ultimately it boils down to game theory. Essentially what we had is we had one team of miners that kind of saw an opportunity to make a quick buck. Okay, and they said, okay, we're going to go off and do this Bitcoin Cash thing. We're going to do a hard fork, and we're going to make a ton of money this way. Then you had these other guys coming around saying, well, they're doing this. They're going to make a ton of money. We can't give them 100% market cap on this. So we're going to join in on the fun. I don't think anyone really seriously suspects Bitcoin Cash is going to be the future of payments. I don't really think anyone suspects who's mining Bitcoin Cash now is going to see Bitcoin Cash 5 years down the line. They know what this is. They didn't want to be the last one to pick the straw. That's why they got in. That's why we have, these large people coming and saying, okay, we're going to do this. They're trying to get as much market cap, squeeze it as much as possible now, and then leave once it ultimately crumbles. And I think secretly they know this, and they might not admit to this, but that's my theory. And I think it's a good one.
It's sad. It really is, because I feel like they're abusing their power, and it's really unfortunate to see, because all of us that have been here since the beginning, we know that decentralization is key, and not having these scammers and these people that have power, unfortunately, abuse their power. And we have a lot of people getting into this space every single day. I mean, every single day we have new people approaching cryptocurrencies, learning about them and which coins to get into. And it's unfortunate because people are going to see Bcash or Bitcoin Cash, and they see the word Bitcoin in the currency name, and they're thinking, oh wow, this coin must have value. But in the end, it really doesn't. I mean, it just doesn't have the history. There's so much room for failure. It doesn't have segregated witness. It doesn't have a roadmap packed with congruent approaches that work alongside with Bitcoin, and also Vertcoin as well. So it's unfortunate. It really is sad to see that people are actually recognizing Bcash. It blows my mind, but.
Yes. And like you said, the reason it exists and its value that it currently holds is because it was featured on Forbes, because everyone, and their mother was talking about, oh, the hard fork, Bitcoin, this and that. It's on, MSNBC, CNNBC. Everyone's talking about it. It has that attention. If Litecoin had that attention, and it actually, it has the use value at the same time, we wouldn't be talking about, a $60 Litecoin having a good day. We see similar increases like we've seen with Bitcoin Cash.
Yeah.
And I think as we particularly focus on education, as we get into CNBC, as people start taking interest because they start understanding who we are, what we're about, the use value, the reality of the situation, we will get that notoriety. And we won't be just talking about Bitcoin anymore. We'll be talking about Litecoin and Bitcoin. So education, first and foremost. That is the goal of the Litecoin Community Alliance. And that's why we're going to be writing guides, how to use, where to buy it, where to send it, where you can spend it in retailers. Everything you need to know about Litecoin, we're trying to put on our webpage. We're even one day going to be offering Litecoin and cryptocurrency education courses. That's our ultimate goal, to have ebooks, courses that you can take so you can become a certified Litecoin retailer. Just providing as much information as possible so we really improve the notoriety of this coin.
And you seem like a very good leader for the Litecoin Community Alliance. You have the logic, you have the intellect, you know what you're talking about, you know the end goal of what Litecoin Community Alliance is here for, which is awesome. And you guys have been very active. I know I tune into the Slack frequently to see what's going on, what's being talked about, and what's in the works. I know that you guys have a lot of projects, or we have a lot of projects that we're working on within the Alliance. So I'm really looking forward to some really big things coming for that. But yeah, like you said, I mean, it's unfortunate because, the whole fork was probably one of the biggest things in cryptocurrency history, the Bitcoin fork. Everyone was talking about it. Everyone was fearful. It was on all major media outlets. But the one thing that they mentioned, what comes with the fork is the forked coin, which is Bitcoin Cash. And it got all this hype and fame, but the community that has been here since day one, they all hated it. I mean, in our Bitcoin, in all the subreddits, the whole community didn't agree with Bitcoin Cash ever having any significant value. And it only really holds that value because I talked about with Charlie on the interview, people had the lack of ability to cash out on their Bitcoin Cash, to sell it as fast as they could, which is unfortunate. And you also have the fact that, yeah, that's basically everything that I'm trying to point out. I mean, everyone in the cryptocurrency community that has been here for a while understands where the real value is, where the real future is headed. But
like I said, it's because it wasn't about the community. The people who made Bitcoin Cash didn't care about the community. They cared about their bottom line, which was
making money.
And that's the difference between Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, and Litecoin. Charlie's here because this is a project he believes in. He could have had a offering and whatnot. He could have made himself so rich by acquiring as much Litecoin before he released it to the public. He didn't do that. He wanted it to be a fair coin. And that is the bottom line for him. And that's why we're going to see Litecoin having a good future and Bitcoin Cash is going to disappear.
Yeah. I really think deep down it's going to become just another altcoin because the whole thing with the coin is to make a quick buck and to mislead the new people getting into the space. That's really what it is. And like I said, it's just so sad to see. I mean, I like sometimes I don't like to think, but sometimes I think it's like, is Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies entirely going to pay a huge consequence because of these forks and the manipulation and these political issues? I mean, do you think that there's going to be a consequence because of this?
Well, for one, there's a consequence and there's a benefit. All the drama is stirring attention to cryptocurrency. So you're going to have people who have never heard about, sort of Bitcoins and the drama is going to be publicized in the news, and it's going to create some attention. So that part's okay. I'm okay with people learning more about cryptocurrency through drama. But then, alternatively, what's important is they see that there's drama-less coins like Litecoin. Litecoin doesn't have this drama. So the more drama and attention Bitcoin Cash has, the better Litecoin's going to look. Bitcoin Cash is going to look like shit, with all this drama and whatnot. And people are going to say, look, I got in here because this was in the news and it was interesting, and I kind of got invested, but now I want something more stable. I want something that doesn't have all this baggage.
Major volatility.
Yeah, they're going to see Litecoin. They're going to see that it's operated by someone who's honorable and trustful and knows the technology. Most importantly, that he knows the technology well. He gets it, which is why people are going to trust him, and which is why he should be trusted.
Yeah, and I mean, Litecoin has continued to appreciate in value, and I think that Litecoin, just thinking of this now, I think Litecoin is probably the only coin that has kept up with the uptrend line from when segregated witness was originally implemented to the platform. I mean, we saw just with the past fork, the craziness with Bitcoin August 1st, every coin took major dumps and they just fell off the face of the earth. And what was Litecoin doing? I mean, during the downfall, Litecoin was stable in price. I mean, it did go down to $35, but it's continuing to appreciate in value, stair-step value, and it has not broken the uptrend line even through all of this crap with Bitcoin. And that says something. That speaks volume.
That's safe currency. That says you can put money into it and not worry that your paper wallet is going to be $0 tomorrow. That's important. So
yeah, that's why people need to look at it and think, wow, maybe I should use this coin for my store as a means of exchange and payment, because there's not a lot of volatility. You're not going to get paid for your, let's say I'm a retailer and I'm selling this person a chocolate bar, and he has Litecoin and I'm going to accept Litecoin from him. When he pays me in Litecoin, I'm not going to be worried that there's going to be a significant drop in the price of Litecoin when I get that payment from him. And I think that's what retailers and businesses need to look at. If I'm accepting Bitcoin and someone pays me Bitcoin, we could see all sorts of volatility changing the price of whatever was paid for. So that's really what I think a lot of people need to realize and look at, is that the lack of volatility and the continuous appreciation of value is where the major use case comes in as to why any business should accept it. I mean, why would I accept the US dollar that's depreciating yearly in value if I can accept Litecoin and then, within a month, it'll be appreciating a lot more than the US dollar. The US dollar is depreciating, but you know what I mean, you get my drift.
So, I mean, yeah, but that's a good point too, is, if people are accepting Litecoin and they have faith that it'll increase in price, then it's a good bargain for them. But at the same time, we're working with retailers so that it automatically converts to fiat should they want that option, in case they don't want to store the Litecoin, in case they are risk averse and they don't want to have to deal with, having this asset that could depreciate. Although it's very stable, we don't have to worry about it collapsing. But if it depreciates, a couple percent, and businesses don't want to have to deal with that, we're going to have a way for retailers to auto swap it at the point of sale, such that you transact your Litecoin and they get out US dollars. So we're gonna do that for anyone who doesn't want to hold on to those Litecoins and worry about, oh, where am I going to go to transact these back into US dollars, and worry about the price changing while they're waiting for all that to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. And I wanted to touch base on something with you that I wanted to talk about at the beginning, but now we're here. So I I know that you wanted me to ask the question during the interview with Charlie Lee about how to set up a point of sale system for real retailers and businesses to accept Litecoin as payment, because it's very unknown how you're supposed to set this up. And I don't know, I didn't have a lot of time on the interview. It was kind of a specific amount of time that I had him on my stream. So I wasn't able to ask it, but I think that one thing that not only the Litecoin Community Alliance could do, but the community could do, is to push for better understanding and comprehension on how the average person can set up a point of sale to transact Litecoin and accept it. I think that's a huge milestone.
That's absolutely on our business plan. We're working right now to set up a specific merchant portal that takes businesses that are signed up with us through all the steps they need to totally understand everything they need to set up their own point of sale system. And we're going to be selling them the technology that they need to set up their own Litecoin operation. That is 100% step 2 of the plan. I guess step 1 and step 2 kind of exist simultaneously. Education, payment solutions, equipping people with the knowledge to use Litecoin, and equipping people with the technology to use Litecoin. And if we push those through hard at the same time, ultimately, we will have mass adoption.
I think if you look at it from the big picture, we have the education factor, and we have these other factors as well that we need to push for the adoption. But I think one of the biggest things, and we know this through history, it's very common knowledge that convenience is key. And I think that plays a huge role in cryptocurrencies. I think what's keeping us from getting to these next milestones, not that there's anything keeping us from getting to them, but what's hindering the speed at which we meet these new goals is simply because of the convenience. I mean, I want in the future to be able to, like I say, I have a store, I want to be able to exchange and transact Litecoin with a click of a button. I don't want to have to, I just want to basically plug and play and accept Litecoin. I don't want to have to download all these things and be continuously and constantly confused as to how this works. And I think that we need to take the complexity and make it convenient and simple. So
that's absolutely our goal. We're going to make it as easy as possible with our developers developing this technology, such that it's a point and click. You take your scanner, you scan it, you're done. We're going to make it so all the technical intricacies are taken out of it, so the retailer doesn't have to worry about those kinds of things. The retailer doesn't have to worry about getting paid. The retailer doesn't have to worry about Litecoin losing value, and they can convert exactly to fiat right then and there. We're doing everything we can to streamline this, so it's, point A to B. Purchase, the money comes through with the fastest, most easy way in order to make that transaction happen.
Yeah. And I also wanted to talk about real quick. Oh yeah, so I mean, you watched the interview. I was talking to you before the interview, kind of helped me out with the questions and topics and kind of conducting it, which I thank you for doing that. So back to the interview with Charlie Lee. What do you think about this? What did you originally think about the CNBC interview with Charlie Lee? And do you think that Charlie Lee made a good recovery from that previous interview tonight?
Well, I mean, I think he gets a lot of slack unnecessarily for the CNBC interview. I think people were upset that he wasn't talking more about Litecoin, and he spent a lot of time talking about Bitcoin. And people wanted him to say all sorts of things so that the price of Litecoin would increase, and he didn't do that. But once again, that's not his job. His job is to focus on the technology. And ultimately, I'm not going to come here and sit here and Charlie Lee had a terrible interview, because he mentioned Bitcoin. That's what he was asked about. You can't really fault the man for that. And in terms of a recovery, he did a great job today. He very clearly explained the technology. He very clearly explained what they were working on. He touched on all different aspects that have sort of existed in the ether that he's been mentioning over the months, with the colored coins and the lights and the lightning network and the atomic swaps. Everything that we were kind of curious about, he addressed. I think we learned a lot from him. So I think he did a very good job in sort of explaining what is going on, and also educating us on some of the intricacies of the lightning networks and atomic swaps. So it was educational. It was to the point. It was about the technology, which is what he's here for.
it's all about awareness, definitely. I think that we need the main goal of the Litecoin Community Alliance. It's all about awareness, education, and adoption. Those are the three big things, the big three. So I'm really happy that I got to have you on my channel, and I'm definitely going to have you back on my channel again for future updates and to converse and talk. But is there anything that you want to actually talk about other than what we've covered?
Well, one thing I've mentioned, I think to you personally, is going forward, we need to make sure that the fees associated with Litecoin remain low. And so as part of our ultimate goal, we want to help assist Charlie Lee with funding for a project that will make sure that fees stay low as mass adoption occurs. Because one of the main attractions to retailers is that it has those low fees, that they don't have to deal with these high credit card fees. If that starts changing, if the scales start to tip, we might have a problem on our hands. So our goal is in part to raise revenue for a project for Charlie Lee, such as Lightning Network, that will keep fees low, that will prevent credit cards from being a better payment option than Litecoin. If we can accomplish that, if we can get that project underway, if we can fund that project, we have even more promise than we currently do to have mass adoption occur.
Yeah, and I think that I was looking at the perspective of having multiple different companies. You've got multiple different banks. You have Wells Fargo, you've got Chase Bank, you have TD Bank, you have all these different banks. And I think people are going to want to choose different options based off of their interests and what they think is most comfortable with them. And I think that we'll still have a handful or maybe a few more of coins that are going to act as a bank. We're going to have coins that act as a currency. We already have niche coins like OneCoin. I think it's library credits that wants to take out and be the new YouTube. We've got Syscoin that wants to be the new eBay. So I think that we're going to see more and more of that, which is exciting. But I think that these fund tokens, if you will, or these tokens that are specific niches, I think that they're going to be directly transacted back into Litecoin, Bitcoin, or Vertcoin after receiving them. And it's just going to be like a really quick swap instead of using Syscoin or library credits as an actual payment system. You know what I'm saying?
You're right. Those operate in niche spaces just for those kinds of services. And they will, they will be our competition. But at the end of the day, we will do much better than them on the basis that we're able to keep it faster, we're able to keep it cheaper, and that's the bottom line for retailers. They don't care about anything else. So we need to make sure that we keep that our primary goal, fast and cheap, develop the technology for that. And I think that's what Charlie does. That's what he focuses on. That's why he's spending less time on atomic swaps with Bitcoin than he is on the Lightning Network. Because at the end of the day, he sees this as a currency. And he knows that in order for it to be a currency and to be used on a mass scale, we have to keep it fast and cheap.
Yeah, I think he finds more importance with Lightning Network to be implemented before atomic swaps, simply because, I mean, the guy's a genius. He knows what needs to be implemented and worked on and what's most important to efficiently further the adoption. So, whatever, honestly, I mean, I follow Charlie Lee very closely. I'm sure everyone knows from looking at my channel, but, I think that if you follow him on Twitter and you look at what he says and what he talks about, it's completely accurate. It's factual. It's like the guy knows what's going on inside and out. And I think that people cannot doubt this guy because, I've been following Charlie Lee for quite a while now, and everything that he says, whether it's biased or an opinion, ends up being what the result is.
Although, except for predicting the price of Litecoin, but that's
yeah,
that's anyone. No one can really do that. You're right. He knows the technology. He understands the players, and so he's very insightful. When Charlie Lee says something, you can probably expect it to have most truth in it. So I think that's important in a leader, and I think he displays that. And I think he's able to do it because he's in that world. He knows the players, and he knows the technology.
Yeah, and he's well connected. He's been around. He built a fork of a cryptocurrency before Litecoin was even created. I think it was Tenebrix fork. to another currency. So this guy is no noob, and I think that when he came up with the idea of building Litecoin and creating it, he had a long-term vision, unlike building a fork of a coin. I'm sure, I don't even know how much Bitcoin Charlie probably has, but he definitely got it at like pennies on the dollar. So congrats to him. But I mean, this guy is the guy to follow, and he's really one of the only people that I see as not being a shill to the community. Unlike some of these other people that I don't want to drop names for, but he's the only real guy that's honest, straightforward, cutthroat, and says things how they are. He doesn't sugarcoat, and that's what people need to realize and appreciate, because there's a lot of crap in the cryptocurrency community that people should not be following. And really, honestly, he's like the only person that I really think would be a good follower or a person to follow.
And he trusts his community. He loves his community. He responds to them. He takes their questions. He gets involved with them. Someone like you coming to him, having an interview with him, you have a good following, but he responds to the community, and he wants to be there for us. So we need to be there for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's terribly unfortunate to see the criticism that he received from the interview. It's disgusting. It's like, this guy doesn't deserve it in the least. So I'm glad that people are, I mean, you can see that he's becoming more and more popular on Twitter. He's been posting it on Twitter too. But it's good to see that he's getting the recognition that he deserves. That's just the #1 thing. So people, the more recognition he has and the more influence in the community that he has and the more well-known that he is, I think that, and the more that people are talking about him, people are going to know who to go to for their source of information on current news. But yeah, so I have the Litecoin Core, not Litecoin Core, the Litecoin Community Alliance website address in the description below. And I also have the Twitter right here. I don't know if you want me to pop up the browser real quick while you're still here so that people can see Twitter. I'm going to pop it up real quick. Thank you for joining me again.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Let me go ahead and pop it in so that you guys can see what's up. It's the Litecoin Community Alliance. It's here to stay. I'm going to pop that in there.
Oh, we're trying.
Yeah. So how many people are currently members of the Litecoin Community Alliance?
So we have about 58 members on our Slack channel, and we're currently putting a hold on acquiring new members before we incorporate. But we're still collecting people's info and whatnot. And that way, when we incorporate officially as a corporation, we'll have systems ready to go so people know, what tasks need to be done, what we're working on, and they come in with clear direction and understand what we're about and what how they can help. So hopefully in the next week or so, we'll finish with our incorporation process, and then we'll be in full swing with huge recruitment. We have a lot of people who are reaching out saying, oh, I'm interested in getting involved, and we're gonna get all those people involved as soon as possible. But currently we have about 60 core members, and like I said, a variety of backgrounds, and we're continuing to find more people, daily who are trying to get involved with decades of experience, and their own corporations that they're trying to sort of use to assist with us. So there's a lot of interest in this, and it's really easy to join if you go to our website. I don't know if you can pop that open.
Yeah, I actually the website hasn't been working for me. I'm actually going to see if I'm on Google Chrome, so I'm going to see maybe if Safari works. But I'm going to pop up. Here's the Twitter account. It's what is it called? It's Litecoin CA at Litecoin CA. So this is the Twitter account for the Litecoin Community Alliance. So make sure to follow this for future updates. It's always good to get great news. I mean, Litecoin Community Alliance is like the first big community that has joined together to further the understanding of Litecoin, cryptocurrencies, adoption, and education. So make sure to follow this Twitter account, guys. I'm going to try and see if I can pop up the website in Safari rather than Google Chrome. I don't know why I'm running into these issues. Is the Twitter account showing right now?
Yeah, I can see the Twitter account.
All right, so you guys can see it. Make sure to follow this Twitter account like you'd follow Charlie Lee's Twitter account.
We're trying to come out with press releases and keep you updated on both things that are happening on Charlie Lee's end and things that are happening on our end. So we'll try and be a central hub of press releases and community relations here.
Absolutely. And I think many people are going to be excited to continue to see how you guys decide to do things in the future development of this alliance. I think it's going to be really exciting. You guys are very active. You guys are really pushing hard to get things rolling. I know. When did you guys create the community alliance? Just a week ago, right?
2 or 3 weeks ago, and ever since then we've had brainstorming different projects we're planning to work on and setting up communications channels and task coordination, and we're almost done with incorporating. Have the website up already. I mean, we're moving quickly. I mean, it takes time to set up a business, but we have the right people to get it done, and we're doing it as fast as humanly possible.
Absolutely. I'm super excited. I'm really happy and delighted to be a member of the Community Alliance. Yeah, thank you. But I would really love to have you back on my channel just to do discussions and see, the people that tune in and whatnot. And I'd love to just, broadcast on my channel. I know that you guys are going to probably make a YouTube channel for the Litecoin Community Alliance, especially with the education and stuff like that and updates. But I'd love to have you on here just to give your say, just to allow everyone to know, I guess, two times to know what's going on, future updates and stuff like that. So
absolutely happy to be around as you wish.
Absolutely. So yeah, I don't know why the website isn't working right now. This is what I get. I don't know if you can tell me what's going on. It says there's a request denied by the HTTP proxy, but I know it's working for everyone else. Maybe I'm just unfortunately not going to be able to.
HTTPS litecoinalliance.org. HTTPS //
There we go.
/litecoinalliance.org.
www.litecoin.
No www.
Huh?
No www.
Oh, okay. Alliance.org.
Yep.
There we go. Yeah, so it's not working. I'll figure it out, but
We'll get it up and going. We launched it.
Yeah.
We've already been tried to hack by Ukraine apparently, so maybe there's some correlation there.
Oh, that's no fun. Are you guys a decentralized server?
I'm not a web developer. Don't want to talk about things I don't know. But we have a great guy who runs his own business, Gray Shark LLC. He's created some beautiful websites, and he created our website. And I promise it looks great. And hopefully we'll be able to get you all on there as soon as possible.
Absolutely. Well, it was a pleasure having you on my channel. I'm really glad that you were able to help me out with the interview before, and I'm glad I'm really happy that we have come together to form this Litecoin Community Alliance. So thank you so much for joining me, and I really hope to stay connected with you, maybe to join me for some future live streams.
Absolutely. Can't wait.
Absolutely. All right. Take care, Jason. I'll talk to you soon.
Have a great night.
You too. Bye-bye.